fam, what's good? I hope this you're well and keeping safe. Welcome back to another one. So in today's breakdown, it's simply going to be a weekly breakdown. What can we potentially expect for this up and coming week? So without wasting no time, let's get into this breakdown. So the NASDAQ, right? So the NASDAQ, we can clearly see that the NASDAQ is basically having a beautiful shift back towards the upside, right? Or just having a further continuation push to the upside, right? Now, if I can maybe just do this for you guys, right? My rate list. My rate list is basically just all the top companies when it comes down to the NASDAQ, right? So these companies, if they would have to find themselves going down, it will basically have an influence on the NASDAQ, right? And currently we do have NVIDIA, right? We have NVIDIA that is just simply finding itself having a push towards the upside, right? Basically dominating Apple. You know what? Look at that. Apple haven't even found itself creating an actual higher high, but you know what? Nvidia is just finding itself pushing. Right? We have Microsoft over here. Microsoft haven't even found itself creating some sort of a higher high. We have Meta over here. Same thing. We have Tesla over here. Hey, you know what? Tesla is something else. We have Amazon. You know what? Amazon is not even having that actual higher high, but however, we do have Google. You know what? Who is actually keeping up with Nvidia, right? So with that being said, with these big companies finding themselves having this beautiful bullish momentum towards the upside, this simply means that, you know what, the NASDAQ will also find itself having that further continuation move towards the upside, right? So with that being said, we can now see that, you know what, a company such as Nvidia, a company such as Google, they are finding themselves making some higher highs, right? So with these companies creating some higher highs, this simply means that they need to find themselves coming down eventually, right? And when they find themselves coming down, you know what, then we will see a nice proper correction happening on the NASDAQ as well. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Okay, just keep that in mind, because ultimately what we can see on the NASDAQ is simply that we are finding ourselves creating higher highs, right? Look at this. We have a high, higher high, higher high right over there, right? What happens after price basically creates some sort of initial higher high? We need the correction, right? We need a correction, right? So when will we find ourselves creating this correction right over here? I'm not too sure. Maybe in quarter 3, we can find ourselves creating the correction, right? But you know what? We just gonna have to find ourselves being patient and just wait on what price can find itself presenting to us. So on the monthly time frame, you know what? We don't have much to say, right? So let's scale to our weekly time frame. Okay. Now, on the weekly time frame, we can see that we had a beautiful pullback right over there. We had a beautiful shift back towards the upside, right? So this will basically be the correction. So the actual impulse will basically be this momentum back towards the upside, right? So if I can maybe just get up my foot from my low to my high right over there, an extension target, which we can find ourselves having our eye out on, will basically be, you know what, we can call it 19,600, right? But my closest target will basically be 19,300, right? 19,300 as a target to where I would love to see the NASDAQ hit back into, right? 19,300 right over there. That will basically be the area I would love to see the NASDAQ hit back into, right? But does this mean that we are just going to find ourselves having that shove towards the upside? No, not necessarily, right? It is super important to find yourself having a top-down analysis, basically just painting that framework of what can potentially happen throughout the week, right? So that you can find yourself just moving with price action as, you know what, how it is performing, right? So on the weekly time frame, I am expecting price to at least have some sort of initial pullback and then have that actual further continuation move back towards the upside, right? So scaling to my daily time frame, what do I basically mean when I say that, right? Once again, check this out. Up we win, correction. Up we win, correction, right? If I can maybe pull it all the way down there, and then up we find ourselves going, right? Creating a new higher high, right? So what I basically have my eye out on is these lows we have found ourselves creating right over there. Low, lower low, find ourselves creating a higher high right over there. So this whole area over here will basically serve as my quote unquote area of support or resistance. Support, right? Support, as this is serving as a breaker for me right over there. Okay, so what I will find myself doing though, since this is my actual impulsive move towards the upside, since we are creating a higher high, right, I will get out my flip from my low to my high, just like that. Right, keep in mind, ultimately, this is the area I would want to see the NASDAQ come back into. Clearly, we can just find ourselves doing the following, just have a tap shift and go towards the upside, right? So currently I'm still bullish on the NASDAQ, but I also do have to accommodate if we will have that pullback, right, before having that actual shift to the upside, right? Because what I basically have my eye out on is this huge bull candle we find ourselves creating over here. So we did find ourselves creating some sort of initial void, right? So we need to at least fill up that void right over there. We can see that we do have a little bit of a gap right over there, a inversion fair value gap, right? So, well, not an inversion fair value gap, a volume imbalance, right over there. So there's a high possibility of price basically first having that pullback before having that shift back towards the upside, right? So what I will find myself doing is just look at, are we in a premium, are we in a discounted area, right? So now I'm basically just preparing myself for, if we can find ourselves having that shift back towards the downside, where will it be into, right? And it will simply be back into my discounted area, which will be this area right over here, basically from the 50% to the one right over there, right? That right there will basically be my discounted area to where I would like to see price head back into, right? So is there confluences telling me that, you know what, price can find itself having that shift back towards the downside? Yes, we can basically see that we did have a inversion fair value gap right over there. We can also see that we do have an inversion fair value gap right over here as well, right? Fam, listen, keep it easy. You know what? Keep it easy. Some of you just complicate it way too much, right? Way too much. Just keep it easy. Since this fair value gap is basically lining up with my 50%, you know what? I'm just going to keep that area out right there, right? So I'm just going to keep that area boxed out just like that. And you know what? This is now basically the framework I'm painting myself for this up and coming week. Okay, so scaling down to my 4-hourly time frame. You know what, 4-hourly time frame, can we basically say that we can find ourselves looking for this beautiful shorts just of yet? No, we cannot find ourselves saying that just of yet. You know what, simply because we can see that price did find itself doing what? We can see that price did have some sort of an actual liquidity sweep right over there, right? And we can also see that we do have this beautiful low right over here as well. So if you would love to see some shorts opening up on this beautiful pair called the NASDAQ, right, you need to find yourself waiting for a closure below this body right over there, right below this bear candle right over there. You need to see that closure below, right? And obviously on your lower time frame, there needs to be, you know what, confluence is going hand in hand with that, right? When you see the closure below. So this could be a breaker, this could be a BOB, this could be a fair value gap whatsoever, just to actually just give you that entry confirmation, right? But ultimately, once you see a closure below this body right over there, you know what, then I will consider this being valid. Then only I'll find myself looking for some beautiful shorts back towards the downside, right? Now, how do I find myself trading? Will I just find myself swinging this whole move back towards the downside? No, I won't find myself doing that, simply because, is it guaranteed? It's not guaranteed, right? It's not guaranteed that price will find itself having that shift back towards the downside. So what I do instead is just simply play on my lower time frame, make sure that I get my 1-to-2 ratio. Once I have it, done day, I come back the following day, just basically monitoring, is price still going my direction? And all I find myself doing is literally just follow that direction right over there. Okay, so with that being said, we are still bullish in structure, right? We're still bullish in structure. We first need to see a closure below, right? And if we don't see that closure below, this simply means that we can find ourselves having a further continuation move back towards the upside, right? Ultimately, I am bullish on the NASDAQ. 19,300 is an area I have my eye out on, right? But before we have that, I do want to see price first have some sort of an actual pullback first, and then find itself having that actual push back towards the upside, right? And that right there is my beautiful outlook on this beautiful pair called the NASDAQ. If you find yourself learning something from this, make sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe button. I highly appreciate each and every single one of you. And I'm wishing you all a blessed and profitable week ahead. Keep safe, trade safe, make sure you use money management. If you have any questions whatsoever, drop it in the comment below, right? And I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. It's me, your boy D. I'm out.